Private detectives, what's the most unforgettable case you've ever solved? A young man approached me with desperation in his eyes. My wedding is in 15 days, he said, but I have doubts about my fiancée. I don't have solid proof, just a gut feeling. Can you find out the truth before it's too late? I told him, you've come late? I can't promise anything, but whatever I uncover in these 15 days, I'll share with you. We immediately began our investigation. She worked at a reputed company, and during lunch breaks, she often sat outside in the sun. One particular colleague, a senior male, seemed to have her undivided attention. They laughed, leaned in close, exchanged glances that held a little too much familiarity. It wasn't conclusive, but it raised suspicion. We advised our client to call her frequently. Whenever he did, she ignored his calls with the same excuse. I'm in a meeting, stop disturbing me. Yet our surveillance showed she was free, talking and smiling with that same man. Something wasn't right. The next evening, we followed her. She met the same colleague at an upscale restaurant. They sat at a dimly lit corner table, their hands occasionally brushing under the table in an unmistakably intimate manner. My 35 years of experience told me this was no casual friendship. I instructed my client to call her. He did. She smirked, showed the phone screen to the man, and dismissed the call. After multiple ignored calls, she finally picked up and snapped, I told you I'm in a meeting. I sent my client the photos and videos and asked, do you know this man? His reaction shook me. He turned pale, his hands trembling. This is my brother-in-law, my only sister's husband. He introduced me to her. He helped her get this job. His voice cracked as he spoke, disbelief and rage mixing in his expression. This changed everything. If this evidence was shown to his family, they might dismiss it, reasoning that since the brother-in-law had helped her, they naturally had a close bond. We needed undeniable proof. For 24 hours, we watched her every move. Then, just 4 days before the wedding, my client told me she was attending a company function with the same man. That night, I gave him clear instructions. At 1 a.m., go to your in-law's house. Wake up your future father-in-law and brother-in-law, tell them it's urgent, and bring them along. Take their phones to prevent any interference, then drive straight to the hotel where she's staying. He followed the plan. At the hotel, we booked rooms near hers, set up surveillance, and approached the floor manager. Knock on that room at 3 a.m., I told him, and say it's a birthday surprise. At exactly 3 a.m., the manager knocked. There was silence, then rustling inside. A hesitant voice asked, who is it? Room service, ma'am. We have a surprise birthday delivery. More silence. Then, slowly, the door creaked open. That was our cue. My team and I burst in. Inside, the brother-in-law was standing in nothing but his undergarments, scrambling to pull on his pants. She was wrapped in a blanket, her eyes wide with shock. Her father and brother standing behind us froze in horror. The room reeked of betrayal. Her father fell to his knees, hands clasped together. Please, he begged, turn off the cameras. I gave a silent signal to my team. They lowered their cameras, but my hidden one kept rolling. I knew that if pressure was applied later, they might twist the narrative. Her father and brother unleashed their fury on her, their voices echoing through the hotel corridor. The hotel's CCTV captured everything. There was no way to deny what had happened. As we stepped out, I turned to her father. Your daughter made a mistake, but you knew. My client didn't deserve to be dragged into this mess. Now, you will compensate him for his wedding expenses. Our $7 lakh for hotel bookings, travel, and everything else. He gaped at me. Who are you? He whispered. I feel like I've seen you before. You must have seen me on TV, I said with a smirk. Realization dawned on his face and he nodded. He had no choice. The wedding was called off. My client walked away, free from a life that would have been built on deception. Even today, he visits my office and bows in gratitude.